Good morning, everyone of handmade social sewing. So I have got a little setup here, which isn't ideal, but you know what, we have to make do with what we've got in these times, because I've got a tripod coming, and until then, my apologies, but you have to put up with a little bit of rockiness and shakiness, because the selfie stick is okay, but not brilliant. Anyway, so for those of you here joining us today for the first time, my name is Michelle, and I run a social sewing group in the Wigan area in Lancashire in the United Kingdom, where I teach the community how to sew and do crafting and just generally have a great time together, communicating, keeping people out of isolation, helping them to learn new skills, which hopefully they can take on and use for making money or just keeping themselves occupied or their children in clothing. So that's what we're all about. And so this is all going to be super casual to start with, because we're learning as we go along. So bear with us. Today, though, on the agenda, we have got sewing spaces. So what does your sewing space look like? I used to sew on a dining room table. I have been known to sew on the floor on many occasions, using my knee as the pedal to press the pedal. So, you know, there's no stopping you. If you really want to sew, there isn't an excuse. Just get down and do it, okay? So those are the things we're going to look at today. And I'm also going to have a chat to you about a knitting course that I'm just starting. I wish I could remember the URL. I might post it for you guys later. But it's Norwegian knitting, and it's a free course starting today. You might be able to find it on your own social feed as well. And then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. So for today, let's hop straight in and let me show you where I sew. Bit of background history. So for 33 years, I didn't have a space. I worked wherever I could find a surface. And it was a constant battle of putting stuff away all the time, trying to keep the place clean, pushing it aside to have dinner with the family. You know what all those things are like. And then when we moved into this old pub, it was a total revelation. I mean, seriously, I am so blessed. I've got an amazing sewing space. However, you will see in a moment that having a lovely sewing space is not the same as having a nice, clean, calm, relaxing, inviting sewing space. So I have these lapses. It's either clean or it ain't so clean. There doesn't seem to be an in-between. So I am going to show you what it looks like currently. And then I'm going to do a cleanup this weekend. And then next week I'll show you what it looks like when I've tidied up a little. And I may do some rearranging at the same time, because I can tell you now, I am spilling out of this room, and that is just not on, considering the space that I've got. So what I'm going to have to do is figure out how to flip this camera around if I can. Otherwise, oh yeah, here's a button here, which is really great. So I'm going to flip you around and take you on a little tour. This is the passage in our house, and I'm going to show you that living in a listed old building has its challenges. We have plaster coming off the walls. We have holes in the roof. Oh gosh, we have cracks in the ceiling. It's very atmospheric. And if you've ever been to France and you've hired yourself a gîte, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So when I talk about my sewing space spilling out, let me show you. One sewing room, another sewing room, and there a sewing machine, I apologize. There's another one that's just arrived that needs some urgent maintenance because they broke it. That's a machine for cutting paper and fabric. Oh, and gosh, look under the bed where we have another one and another few and another one. Now, you may think, how many sewing machines can one girl possibly need? And there's one there. I'm not embarrassed to say, I don't believe you can ever have too many sewing machines. Yeah, that's what I believe anyway, and I'm sticking with it. Don't let my husband tell you otherwise. So all these sewing machines have a purpose because I recycle them. Some of them, if they're too badly damaged, I put them through a very extensive restoration process. And, oh, look what I found here. 2 more machines. One of these, by the way, this one, is literally in pieces at the moment. And a lot of them go to repair other machines. So if one is beyond repair, then I'll get one for the thing. And I give away a lot of machines. A lot of machines are gifted or sold if they have cost a little bit of money. So here, I'm going to try and do this smoothly because I'm in my wheelchair, so I get to pan a little bit easier. This is the entrance to my sewing room. It's a little low door. My husband knocks his chest into it, so low in fact. And when you come in, sorry about the light source, but there you go. This is what I call my landing board. This is meant to be where I display all my projects that are going to be made, but that's never the case, sadly. Okay, so coming into the room, guess what? Some more sewing machines. Well, what do you expect? It's a sewing room, okay? And then this is where the disaster starts to happen. Okay, looks lovely up there. Shall I keep the frame up there? And then you can all admire my room and not see the mess that I've caused. Right, some more sewing machines. So I'm going to pan around to the side while I'm in my chair. I'm going to just turn you around back into the room. So there's the entrance over there. So you can see I have got patterns up at the top. All of those boxes at the top there. Oh, let me see if I can, yeah, that's it. All of those are boxes of patterns. That's bags of wadding for quilting. And see, hole in the ceiling, lots of other stuff. If I come down into my corner unit, there's tins of every conceivable thing you need for a sewing room. All sorts. Then we've got different types of fabrics, stretch fabrics, polar fleece. The dark ones over there are all Harris tweed for hats and stuff like that. Wool, because you know I'm a knitter and a crocheter as well. I'm not going to show you behind the door because there's more stuff behind the door. Then to our left here, we're going to go around. I've got my racks of ribbon. That's not all of it. Believe me, it's piled on the floor somewhere as well. And then if you carry on round, you've got my sewing machines that are always in use. So yes, how many sewing machines can one person use at any one time? At least 5, because they all serve different purposes. So each one of them does something better than the others. So those are lots of vat quarters for quilting, lots of liberty, all sorts of notions and haberdashery, and up there are lots of giant spools of thread for my machines and also for the industrial machine as well. More fabrics over there, more tools, a lovely little stand hubby made me for some of my antique tools and some vintage bobbins. You might notice a few clocks in my room. It's not one that tells the time properly. So there's a little display on my newly refurbished window, which can now open and close, which is fabulous. This is the machine I sit at quite a lot of the time. The little drawer is full of thread. Every drawer has got thread in it. Notice under the tables, more boxes of fabrics. Another machine and a case underneath there.